Hello there, everyone. I know it's been 2 weeks since I uploaded anything. That's because I started my new semester at university and I had a few things to do. But today, as you can see, I just learned how to set up OBS. That's a good news. Now I will be using OBS for recording. I might start going live as well. So for now, what we are going to do is learn about TypeScript. So we are continuing where we left last time, 2 weeks ago. And that was knowing basics of TypeScript. Today, what we are going to do is we'll learn about string functions. Last video was 1 hour long. I know that's a bit too long. So I'm gonna try to finish today's in about 20 minutes. Hopefully we can. It's all just a string function, so it should work out somehow. So this video is part of learning with AI kind of thing uh, that I'm making. So we'll be learning TypeScript with AI, more specifically today, string functions. So let's get started. So first I'm gonna make the prompt and ask it. A simple prompt, it's nothing very tricky or anything. So let's just make it. This will be, hey Charlie. I like to call it Charlie. Just my kind of thing. Um, I want to continue to learn TypeScript from where I left. So today I want to know all about string functions with a common use case example. Examples are really good to understand things, and it's just functions. They will be pretty easy to understand using examples. So it will make my life easy and yours as well. So let's go and tell it that I don't just want the TypeScript part. I want JavaScript, TypeScript both, so everything from TypeScript. Don't assume that I know JavaScript and provide me with all the information. That's it. I'm just gonna press enter, and once again let me just mention, give me all the string functions I can use in TypeScript, just so that it doesn't hallucinate. Let's go. And as always, I'm gonna make a note. I'll post it on my GitHub where you can go and take a look. There we go. Simple, easy, and perfect. So since you asked me not to assume knowledge of JavaScript, I'll explain them from the ground up. That's what I wanted. Although I know JavaScript, but everyone forgets the functions. So why don't we revise it again? So first of all, let me just make string functions. I'm not going to write down the examples. That will take too much of our time. It's just waste. But we'll go through the example here. I'm just going to write the name of the function and what it does on the notes. so that you can just go and have a look at it whenever. Maybe you are going for an interview or making something. Let's go. The first thing it tells us about is what is a string in JavaScript? A sequence of character. Of course, everyone knows that, hopefully. One thing is that, like in Java or C, a string is not a primitive type, but in TypeScript, strings are a primitive data type. So we can just use a string as a string. We don't have to make a char array for a string. Nice. I'm not gonna write that. This thing using backticks is known as template literal, or you can call template a string or anything. It allows us to use a variable inside or use a variable to substitute its value and make it a string. Nice. So the first function is .length. It is to get the length of the string. We can use it for an array as well, but we are not there yet. So let's write down first is be sure to take note that you are not supposed to use the opening and closing parentheses after length, because then the compiler won't understand that you're trying to get length. It will check maybe you have created a function called length. Gives the number of characters. The number of characters start from 1. We have to be sure because it's not like index. Index starts from 0 and goes to n minus 1, supposing n is the length. Okay, so it will be n, not n minus 1. So it will, if there are 8 characters, it will give us 8, whereas the indexing will be from 0 to 7. Nice. The second function is accessing character. So it's like I have this character in my string. I know of that. Now give me, sorry, so that's different. So I have this index. Like let's take the same example. I have 8 characters length string. I want the character at length at number 5 index. So I'll just use this dot charAt. So dot charAt, and I'll pass the index as a parameter, and this will give me character at index that is passed in the string. So yeah, next one is something that does the same thing, which is char code at. It's a good way to check a string. So whenever we are checking two characters, what inherently happens is it will change those two characters in their ASCII code and checks which one is small, which one is large, basically. So to get the code, ASCII code of a character at that index inside the string, we can use char code at. Yeah, I was right. So dot be sure all of these functions will be used using dot operator after the string variable. So if your string is like my name is Anant and it's stored as name, so you will use name dot char at name dot length, something like that. So char code at will return us the ASCII code at of character at index. This is going to be a fun session because it will be very intuitive from their name itself. Also, there is also using the double brackets. So the square brackets, that's like accessor for strings or anything. We can just pass the index there and it will give us whatever the character we have at that index. I think most of us think that that is only possible with arrays. Like after the array name, we can use the square bracket and pass the index. But in JavaScript, at backend, a string also works as array of character. It's just that they made it primitive, so you can use it. It's a good thing. So for this, I'll just write works same as arrays accessor. Okay, for searching. So for searching means you want the index of something. You want to search something. Let's say index of, last index of. So in in the string name, which had my name is Anant, if I want to see get the index where last A comes, character A comes, I can just say last index of an A. It comes in very handy for some of the leet code problems. If you're solving them, you know of it. If you are not, you might as well want to start that using TypeScript, obviously. So I'm just going to make this thing. So the above one was accessing character. Okay. So this is for accessing characters. Other is searching inside strings. Okay, and let's just write them down. So first is index of. I was talking about this earlier. It just, if you are very sure that there is a character, this character is inside my string, I just want to get the index of that. You put index of and that character, the value there is the character itself, and it will give you the first occurrence. So we have to be careful. It will give us the first occurrence. If our string has 3 A's inside it, then it will give us the index of first A. If that's something we want, then we should go with that. First occurrence index. Now the other one is dot last index of. Pretty intuitive, isn't it? So it will just return us the same, the character we pass, but the last index. If there is only one of that character in the string, so let's suppose if my string is A and T, and I want T, then the index of and last index of will return the same thing, which is 4. But if I want A, then index of will return 0, the first A, and last index of will return 2, which is the second A, which is the third letter, so it will return 2. So this will just return last occurrence index. Nice. Now, how would we know if that character is inside my string if we don't know the string? If we know the string, then it's fine. We know the index as well. But what if you don't know the string at all and you want to check if there is a character that exists? That's where includes come. So it will, we have to be careful. It ends with S. So includes, it's plural. Includes, we pass the value what this will give us is it will return true or false based on if the char is in the string or not. So if it is there, let's suppose the word anant, A-N-A-N-T. If you ask if there is a C in there, so anant dot includes C, it will return false. Obviously, there is no C. So yeah, other one is starts with, ends with. There's just this thing. Starts with will return true and false, ends with will return true and false. But the thing is that it will just return if my string starts with that substring that I just passed. So let's see the examples here. Console.log sentence, but it starts with I love. Does I love TypeScript starts with I love? Yes, so it's true. Second one, script, does it end with script? Yes. So for any of these, we can pass characters and a string of characters based on our, if we want, whatever we want to do with that. And if it returns yes, then yeah, of course, it is there. If it doesn't, that means the prefix we passed or the suffix we passed is not the correct prefix or suffix. So let me just write it down. It starts with some value dot ends with some value. Now you must be thinking it's pretty easy and all. Why are we even bothering to learn this? But it comes in very handy when you are in an interview, you're solving something, you don't always want to make these kind of functions. These are called utility functions, which are already there in most of the languages, which supports a string, which all of them do. If you just get rid of CSS, I mean, and other ones. So these are utility functions that makes our life easy, and if our language provides them, then we should like know them for sure, because this is one of the thing that interviewer will check if you know these functions or not, because you don't always want to make functions for index of course you can just go through the whole string. Let's suppose if I want to check if love exists, I'll just use the sliding window kind of thing and see if there is love. If there is no, then I can just return no. If there is, I'll return the first index. So yeah, it's easy, but when if it's already there, why don't just use it? Okay, so that was how we search inside a string. Now we are going to extracting a part of a string. So something like if I have a string, I want to split it, or I want to make a new string, but I just don't want some of its part, then we'll use slice, substring, or substr. If we return, okay, we'll see what substr is. I don't know. There's also a function called splice, S-P-L-I-C-E instead of slice. If it's not there, I'll ask ChatGPT again if there what splice is, because it also comes pretty handy. But these extracting part of a string, these functions um, are something that you use often in a sliding window kind of situation, in a problem where you have to use sliding window and you're dealing with an array, a string, or anything. It really comes in handy because you need to use these substrings to see if it exists, or the largest palindrome for say, or largest um what was that? I just solved a sliding window question, and it was the largest common string or something. But yeah, it 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 really comes in handy. So you, if anything, we should remember these functions. to extract something from a string. Let me just write these down as well. It might feel like we are going way too fast, and I'm sure it does. It feels like that, but I just don't want to make this video very big. And we are most probably going through all of the string functions, so there are quite a few of them. So if you see we are not even halfway through, let's see. But we'll work something out. We'll go through it, don't worry. So slice, it will take a start and end. Cut out the part. Nice. So cut out the part, that doesn't mean anything else. So you see console.log text.slice 0, 4 from TypeScript will return type. Same thing for console.log substring. Is it so slice and substrings is likely the same. There's only one difference. Or actually there is no difference between slice and substring, but there is a difference between substring and substr, and I'll go to that. It's already written there, but still we'll go with that, go through that as well. In substring as well, you want to pass start and end, but for substr, what you want to pass is start. So where should I start the substring? And then length. So the end index becomes the length. Not that different, it will return the same thing if you are doing it correctly. So either you pass the length or you pass start plus that length, which is the end, where you want to end a string, or yeah, ending index. That was it, pretty easy, right? So I'll just go through again. So let's say our text is TypeScript, which is of 10 characters. So the index is from 0 to 9. What slice 0 to 4 will do is it will return you the string starting from 0, the substring starting from 0, and it will go to end minus 1 index. So it will start from 0 to 1 to 3. So type only. S won't be included. Make sure that you remember that. Same for substring. You give it the starting index. It will start from there, but it will end at the number given, the index given -1. So it will go from 4 to 9, which is script. But it's different for text, the substr. So substr also works like substring, where you will pass the starting index, but instead of ending index, you want to tell it what's the length of the substring you want. It will just cut it from there and give you that. So yeah, that was everything in extracting. There is a splice function. If I forget it by the end, then just search it yourself. It's pretty easy. It does something. Let's see, changing case. So it's just to uppercase to lowercase. There's also one called to title case, which will make the first letter of every single word capital. So there are these kind of iterative functions if we want to use it. But to uppercase and to lowercase is mostly used because when you want to check something, like I said, when TypeScript checks any string, it checks it using character by character, and how then it's a ASCII code using its ASCII code. ASCII code for a small a and for a capital A is different. So if you're gonna check if Anant equals Anant and one Anant has a small a, one is capital A comes before. So the one with capital A will be smaller than one with small a. actually. So what you want to do is you want to apply at lowercase on both of those, sorry, two lowercase on both of those strings. So it will convert every single letter to lowercase, and then you are actually checking if those characters are same or not, which is what you wanted, if that is what you wanted. Yeah. So for this, I'll just write it down. To uppercase, and you don't pass anything because there is no need to. It knows what it has to do. Now replace. Replace has two functions, replace and replace all. Again, very intuitive. What it will do, replacing text. So if we just use replace, for both of the functions we'll have to pass what we want to replace, and so we'll have to pass the string, substring we want to replace, and the substring we want to replace the old one into. So let's suppose if I have A and T, I want to change the last T and make it D. So I'll say replace T comma D. Simple. But let's say there was not only Anant, it was Anant and Anant. And now I want to change T into D. For both of them, replace will not do the thing. Replace will only change the first occurrence, right? It says replaces first match. Now, what if I want to change the both the T's? So I'll make it from Anand to Anand and Anand. So I'll have to use replace all. Simple. No rocket science or anything. It's very intuitive. These were made so that even if you forget some name, just think of, okay, if I made this function, what would I name it? And it will come to your mind. Old comma new. The second one, replace all, old comma new. Good, let's see how much time do I have. Oh, it's been 20 minutes already. So how about this? We stop this session here. I didn't know it will take this much time, but yeah, we'll stop this session here. Next time, we'll start from trimming spaces. We'll do splitting, joining, and all the rest. If we did miss something, I'll add that in the second video. So for now, you can just go through whatever we covered, have fun. If you want to move ahead, go on. ChatGPT is yours. Everything is open source. Search for it, learn it, or I'll be there for you. So you can also wait and we can do it together. So yeah, that was all. Have a fun day ahead. Bye bye.